Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back for episode 3 of starting my very own fashion brand as a girl with literally no experience. Yeah, just absolutely winging it. So we're currently on the 26th of September at this point, and I started the journey properly in March. So I think that marks about 6 months into the journey, and if you were here for the last vlog, then you know that it ended on a bit of an abrupt note. But for anyone that hasn't seen that, just to kind of fill you in on where things left off and where we're beginning today. So I received some samples, I think it was about 2 months ago now, or maybe a little bit less. I had waited on them for a really long time. So samples typically take around 2 to 4 weeks from the moment you request them to the minute you receive them when you're doing them overseas. Normally it's about 7 to 10 days to have them made, up to 14, and then plus shipping time. So you're looking at maximum a month, but that's like classed as quite a long time. So I'd waited 2 whole months for these samples to arrive. There was just like constant issues along the journey of having them made. I did have 10 things made though, just to put it in context. There was a lot of work for the factory to do. But yeah, for whatever reason, when they arrived, nearly everything was wrong. There was just so many issues with all the items. Like measurements weren't followed. There was just so many things. Like the finish of things was really not to the standard I wanted. And I was really gobsmacked actually, because I had tried this factory already once and I was really impressed with the work. So I was shocked how different my second round of samples were, which is why I did 10 samples with them, because the first round was incredible. But this is a really good, well, I say really good, I mean my experience wasn't really good, but it's actually a factory that makes some really well-known brands and they are normally really good. So I don't understand what happened there, but when these things happen, you do lose faith in that situation. So I just did decide to spread my risks at that point and try out 2 new factories just to see how I got on. And I received a few items from the first one last week and I was actually really impressed with their work. Obviously I'm effectively starting again, which is very frustrating. 6 months into the journey, money wise, a lot of money's been wasted effectively, but I'm trying to put it down to research. And of course, yeah, you're starting from scratch, so it's very time consuming. But this is all part of the journey, all part of starting a fashion brand. And I think what it taught me is definitely spread your risks. Don't just go with one factory, because even if they seem great, if something does go wrong, timescales, errors, whatever it may be, you're relying on that one person to literally fulfill all of your items. So I am spreading my risk now, and I've actually got some more samples arriving today, which I'm really nervous about. I might wait until I've got like the finished product and then we can run through all the things that kind of went wrong from start to finish until I got the perfect product, which is yet to happen. I'm still very much waiting to sign something off that's perfect enough to go into production. As I say, I'm literally starting fresh with 2 new factories now. So on factory 1, I had the samples 2 weeks ago, was really happy with them and have requested the second round of men's. And then factory 2, the first samples are arriving today. Very confusing. One of them I'm sticking to my workwear stuff and the other one I'm sticking to kind of blazers and more tailored pieces. But other than that stuff that's kind of gone wrong, I wanted to fill you in on some things that have gone right, and I'll include like little snippets of them as well. So I worked with a different factory on all of my branding, so on my swing tags and my labels and all that sort of stuff, and a lot of them are kind of ready to go. So I have designed thank you cards, which I just thought was a nice touch. It's really hard when you're launching a new brand because packaging costs are so expensive, and these are things I had no idea about. Like literally I've just learned as I went along. Like big corporations will get such better rates because they're buying in bulk, whereas when you start out, because the number of units you're buying is a lot less, it's so much higher. So there's a lot of things that I'm like, oh my God, I would love to do, but I just physically can't afford to do that right now. Like to give you an example, I tried so hard to get personalised postage bags, and I'm still on that mission. I haven't completely given up hope, but I have tried, to say the least. I've spoke to UK companies, I've spoke to international companies, and oh my God, the cost is just astronomical. When it's the UK, the unit order number is a lot lower, so you can buy a lower number of stock, but the cost is so high, so it's just not feasible. And then internationally, the unit price is a lot lower, but then you have to buy a lot more stock. They want you to buy like 5,000 units, which still ends up costing about 2-3 grand in postage bag costs. And when you're starting out, that's money you need to pump into stock, not on postage. So that's kind of frustrating because you have this vision of what you want the brand to look like and you literally can't fulfill it when you first start out, but you just have to do what like the best you can do. So what I have done is I've done things that I can put inside the parcel to make it really nice when people open up, you know, their goods. So yeah, I've done thank you cards, which I'm really happy with my thank you cards. Like, I've worked really hard on the branding. I can't remember if I said this in my last video, but I actually paid and did a marketing course. It was only just like a mid sort of level. It wasn't like I only did it like at home online. But yeah, I found that really insightful because it taught me all about branding and tone of voice and your target customer and all that sort of stuff. And ever since, I really feel like I've embodied like what my brand is and like what my brand represents. And this is crazy for me because 6 months ago, all I knew is I wanted to make clothes. Like, I didn't have a clue about this side of things, but I really feel like the branding, like the colours, like the fonts, the kind of tone of voice, like how I'm writing things is just very me. And like when I picture who is the target customer, because it's like one of the biggest things they ask you, I would like kind of say, because I'm kind of giving like gossipy girl vibes for some of the things, and I almost say it's like a modern 2024 Blair Waldorf from Gossip Girl, but imagine her in the city, like working her big girl, like 9 to 5 corporate job, and she wants to look amazing in the office, but then she also wants to quickly be able to get dressed and changed for a night out or dinner and drinks, and she just wants to look so chic, but at the weekends she also wants to go shopping and coffee dates and also look gorgeous. Maybe she wants to run errands or go to Pilates and still kind of look casual but also like smart. And yeah, that's kind of like the person I imagine to wear the pieces. So try and embody like the sort of tone of voice and like the way of thinking that I want to apply to that sort of target customer. That's how it works, like in the marketing side of things, which I found really, really interesting. So I've had to apply that to all my branding and everything I've done. So yeah, I did my thank you cards, which I'm really chuffed with. They're really lovely quality. Still very expensive, but not as much as the postage bags. I've also done my swing tags as well. And then I've created do not remove tags because that is cheaper than having the ribbon put through the garment. And I find the ribbon can be quite annoying too. So I have had do not remove tags made. And I've also started designing other things. I think I'm going to do like stickers, so at least I can buy like a plain bag and put a personalised sticker of the brand name on it and all stuff like that. My labels need changing because they have my old London font, which I just felt looked a little bit dated, so I've updated that, so I need to update them. But I'm so happy with my labels because I've gone for pink, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone do a pink label before. I might be wrong, but I don't care if anyone has. Like, I just really love that. It's like such a nice touch because the brand is very light pink, and you know what makes me happy? That shade of pink is like the pink that was all through my apartment. So it's almost like a little piece of me because like pink's my favourite colour. Like, it has been since I was literally a little girl. And yeah, I just think it works really well for the brand. So I'm so chuffed with how everything is moving along. I also launched the brands on Instagram and on TikTok on the 1st of September. And it was literally the most random thing. So I had all the issues go wrong with the samples that arrived, the 10 samples. And I think it was literally days after that, I just thought, I felt so lost in the journey because I thought, wow, I'm absolutely nowhere. We're 6 months in and I've got nowhere. So almost to regain a bit of control, I decided to launch the brands online, which I was not planning on doing so soon. I definitely wasn't, but I just thought, why not? Like, I want to share the behind the scenes. I want to share the journey and people to be invested in this brand, like, and the growth of it. I did say this video was going to be about branding, by the way, so I want to talk to you about this a little bit more. And I hope me sitting here chatting isn't too boring. I know, like, it's more exciting when it's a vlog and it's like here, there and everywhere, which it will be. There will be vlogs, a lot of them, but I just kind of want to fill you in on what I've learned over the last few weeks since we've last spoke. If I was to pick the camera up in the moment, I'd be far too emotional and probably say things I wouldn't want to say, so I have to try and really think about how I'm going to say all these things because I don't want to slate any companies out there, or, you know, like I say with the factory thing that went wrong. These things happen, and but in the moment I probably wouldn't have said it in the best way, so that's why I like just process things over a few weeks. But yeah, it was a very stressful time. So the social media launch made me feel really happy, and people have been really, really supportive, and I've hit just 1.3k on TikTok now and about 800 on Instagram, which I'm really happy with that. Like, a part of me feels a little pressure with the social media side of things because obviously I do have a following, so you naturally have this pressure of, well, what if I don't get followers from my existing followers? Do people think it's rubbish? It's just like you just have more pressure on your head when you do social media as your job. But how I try and view it is like, what I'm doing isn't for everyone. Not everyone's going to see the post. Like, out of all the followers I have, the people that actually see that post is not going to be all of them. And even the views it gets doesn't mean they've looked. They could have scrolled past, and it takes time. I'm trying to separate these things entirely because this brand is not what is it called? Like, this brand is not merch. This brand is not meant to be Hazelwood brand. Like, this brand is its own entity. Like, this brand could stand alone by itself, absolutely nothing to do with me. And that's what I want for this brand. So therefore I can't tie my social media performance with the brand. And I'm really trying to work on that mindset, because it wouldn't be fair. And I'd be setting myself up probably for a lot of stress and just, yeah. So I'm trying to obviously use the fact I've got a platform to my advantage, don't get me wrong, but also very much do what I want to do with this brand. And if my existing audience don't like it, that's literally fine, because this brand is its own thing entirely. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm trying to view it. What else has gone? Oh god. Again, this is something I'm like, do I talk about this? I mean, I'll have time to edit this if I don't want to include it, right? But to say this very diplomatically, I've had to get a bit of a legal situation going, because, so I published my brand on the 1st of September, and as soon as I published that brand, within 3 days, another brand who is also in the same stage as me, they're not yet launched, they're launching soon, but they're launching before me, they're launching in November 2024, but I'm planning not to launch till next March. They had their name, they'd already, documented all the process, they were solid in what they were doing. I launched my brand on the 1st of September, I think it was the 1st or the 2nd, pretty sure it was the 1st. On the 4th of September, they rebrand and submit a trademark application for a name that is pronounced nearly the same as mine. And I didn't actually know about this or see it. It was brought to my attention by someone else, and I'm all for inspiration, right? We all get inspiration from each other. I get inspiration from brands. Like, there is not a lot out there in the world that is completely unique. Like, unless you're coming up with something completely from scratch, like that is literally innovative, nothing is completely unique. You're gonna get inspiration, that's fine. People can get inspired by my posts, anything, that is fine, right? We all get inspired, but there's a difference between inspiration and literally, put it this way, when it comes to trademarks and things like that, brand names, ultimately the way this brand is spelled, visually how it looks and how it's said, it could be mistaken for my brand, and that's where the issue comes in. That's the point I'm trying to make here, because ultimately if you've got two brands with almost the same name, almost the same pronunciation, and they visually look very similar, that could get misinterpreted. And that is why I was so frustrated by the situation, because they're launching before me as well. What if people try and search for my brand and they stumble across this brand, and then it kind of takes away from mine, which I know I shouldn't worry about, but this is literally why you pay for a trademark and why I got my trademark. So yeah, that happened. I was told by someone about it, and literally the social media posts that are being posted, I mean, I'll give you some examples. They are literally identical to my posts. And again, I don't care if someone did that or as a whole, but it's the fact that it's the same brand, everything's the same is what I'm trying to say, and in line with the fact of it's literally a conflict of, I can't think what the word we call it, it's not conflict of interest, but it's like in trademark law and all that. Anyway, so I spoke to a solicitor, so I had that situation to deal with, so that wasn't too fun this week. There's so much going on, there's always stuff going on, there's stuff going on every single day. It's just trying to remember what's worthy of actually filling you in on, really. But other than that, everything else is kind of, running smoothly. We're basically just waiting on the product now. Everything is in line, just waiting on this product to be perfect, and then we can crack on. So yeah, today I've got a top and a trouser and a skirt arriving, which I did already make with factory number 1, like my original factory, which was okay actually, it wasn't too bad, but I am retrying them with a different factory. And basically I want a work top that is kind of high neck, because I used to love a roll neck at work, roll neck or just a high neck, can't think what they're called, turtleneck, I think are they called turtleneck? The ones that don't have the roll. I love that neckline. But the main tops I've ever had like that have been this sort of fabric, like wool or stretchy material. The problem you have with that is you get it over your head and it just gets covered in makeup. I mean, it is quite stretchy, I guess, but we don't always want wool or that sort of fabric. I wanted a matching cord set to go with the trousers or the skirt, inspired by this high neckline sort of vibe I'm talking about. But obviously, as it's that sort of fabric, you run into all sorts of issues because it doesn't stretch really. It's got the tiniest bit of stretch, but hardly anything. Getting it over your head is an absolute nightmare. Getting it everywhere, it's just, yeah, it's quite difficult to work with. So I'm basically got a load of different ideas. But I've added a really long zip at the back, almost like how a dress would have a really long zip. So it really helps. A side zip, first one I have made, it was so unflattering on my shoulders, and that's another really big part. I want to do a cap sleeve, but I don't like how cap sleeves look because normally they show your underarm, your armpit, and they kind of don't cover the top bulge bit of my arm that I want covered. Now, this is not obviously me trying to then give people insecurities they don't have. This is just me thinking of, I am someone that is conscious of certain body parts, so if I can create an item that is flattering to that, because I'm sure I'm not the only one out there, then it's going to be flattering to everyone. So that is a big point for me, of really trying to make things very flattering as well. So yeah, I've worked really hard on thinking of a certain kind of a certain shape for the sleeve, and also even the seam lines. Like, you wouldn't think of seam lines, but I've really thought about the seam lines on my top, front and back, on my skirt. Like, oh my god, my seam lines I've done on my skirt I've never seen before. I just, yeah, tried it out and I'm really hoping it works. Right, I'm about to try on my clothing samples. I'm literally like nervous. Okay, the reason why I'm so nervous is because this day has been like so long. It's taken so long to get here. I've kissed a lot of frogs with factories. I really think this factory is the one, and they have just arrived and they are just the best quality. Like, honestly, if I bought these pieces, I would be so happy to spend my money on them, and that is what I want my brand to be. This is sample one, by the way. This is not like the finished product by any means. I'm not a fashion designer. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm literally like starting from nothing, knowledge wise and everything. I'm starting basic, and I think I might add to this design as the samples go by. But effectively, I'm making a co-ord set for work, a skirt and a top, also trouser option as well. The top, I wanted it to be high neck. I am going to be doing a lower neck one as well, but once this design's a little bit more established, because it's going to be based off this design. Added padded shoulders because I wanted a bit of structure there, which I've just not got in any other tops. I also added cap sleeves, but traditional cap sleeves, I think anyway, all the ones I've tried, show your armpit, and I don't like that. So I've added a little bit of fabric here, and the aim is for the sleeve to be like a really flattering length on the arm. First off, it wasn't a wrestling match to get the top on, which honestly, like, I don't know if you guys know what I mean. Like, certain tops and dresses, they're literally so hard to get on, and it wasn't. Am I going to be able to do it up myself? Yes, perfect. We can do it up without any help from anyone. Also, that's really important to me is making sure it's big enough for this area. I am a double D, so okay. So the seams, like that, a little bit tight here, but that has covered the armpit exactly how I wanted it to. Time to try on the matching trousers. So first off, let's talk the waistband. I added this extra seam just to see what it looked like, but originally this design was just going to be a chunky waistband like that. I actually kind of like the seam. It looks a lot better than I expected. They are so comfortable. The length is really good too. I'm 5'3" and the length is literally perfect. They're not tight on my thighs, and I have got chunky thighs. The quality is actually gorgeous. But what about if I add slash pockets here, and then you can put your hands in the pocket to cover the top of the trousers if you want. Or you can tuck the top in and it kind of looks a little bit like a jumpsuit. Hey guys again, welcome back to the vlog. I don't actually know what I last said when we chatted the other day, but it's a few days later, and I thought I'd just kind of fill you in on where we're at in the process. I might have already said some of these things, I don't know, but so yeah, obviously I was really happy with my workwear samples that arrived, so happy with them, and I have made all my amendments now to go back to the factory, and I have actually, like, I always end up getting more and more ideas, so I've actually gone from 3 samples to now 6. Don't ask. Well, I'm redoing the skirt, the trousers and the top, but then I've also come up with a new style of trouser and a new style of top. I also want to order the trousers in a size 10, sorry, because I'm doing them in a 12, but where I'm kind of between a 10 and a 12, I just want to make sure the size grading is looking good, because basically I'm making sure the trousers are generous on me, because where I know I'm between sizes, if the trousers fit me perfectly, they would obviously be a small 12 and I want them to be a comfortable size 12. So I need to, like, the size 10 I should fit in them, but they should just be snug. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's kind of my madness behind all the measuring. But I'm really excited for my new samples to arrive. Yeah, I'm just feeling so good about it. Like, honestly, I can't stress to you how much I was not happy towards the back end of the last vlog you would have seen. Like, I was in such a state. Like, I was at that point where I was like, is this even ever going to happen? Am I delusional to believe I could have started a fashion brand? Like, that's how I was feeling. And I feel like so much progress has been made in the last, I don't know how long ago that was, 4 weeks, 6 weeks maybe, I don't know how long, I think it's about 6 weeks, can't remember, but I just, yeah, if you're just starting a business, like, there will be moments where you want to give up, and there will be moments where you are tested to the extreme, and that is actually normal. And I think because these things have happened to me now, I am literally, like, more prepared for them. they're going to happen again, I know they will, but I'm aware that they'll happen, and I am aware that they will pass, and like you'll also have amazing moments too. So that's kind of where we're at in the process. I've also just ordered my logo stickers today. So what I'm going to do for my packaging is I'm just going to do like, I think brown mailer bags, like recyclable mailer bags, and then I'm going to put like a logo on it. It might sound a bit rubbish, but actually I think it's going to look really good. It's just like you have to improvise when you have a small business, because you can't buy 5,000 units of postage. Honestly, personalised bag is so expensive, and although 5,000 units sounds like a lot, that's like classed as the minimum order quantity. So big time brands will probably order like tens of thousands, if not more, units at a time. So like their price is so low, whereas for me, because I'm starting out and I'm brand new and small, everything is like way higher. So yeah, that's just like another thing, another layer to add to it all. But yeah, I guess we'll check back in when the samples are here. But I'm feeling good about everything. Like I say, I'm feeling good. I am really happy that I'm doing the social medias, like they're continuing to grow. I've hit 900 on Instagram now over the weekend. I'm nearly at 1,500 on TikTok. Every single day that's going up. Some days it's like 2, some days it's 50, some days it's a few hundred. Like every day is different, but like ultimately I'm out there in the world now, like it's growing. My mailing list is nearly at 200 people, which is so exciting. I've got an accountancy meeting tomorrow, and I've also instructed my solicitor to deal with the drama. There's a lot going on, there's a lot of expenses. I sat there the other day and worked out what I've spent, and I'm actually a bit disgusted in how much I've spent. Put it this way, we're about £2,000 away from my initial budget, which was my entire budget for this entire project, and I haven't even got a final product yet. That's before I order stock, pay for shipping, pay for the import taxes, which is astronomical. So whatever your initial budget is, probably triple it, and that's what it's going to end up being. Like genuinely, like when people sit and say, oh, you could start a fashion brand with 5 grand, 10 grand, whatever, maybe you can if you're doing it on the right cheap, but if you're trying to do a good quality product and you're really like sampling over and over and testing out different factories and like really trying to lay the foundations for like a really good quality product, it's a lot of money, guys, and I wasn't prepared for that. But it's not something I feel like you can't do, because where the costs are spread out every month, like you can just, it might take you longer to get there, but you can just spread the costs out every month, like just do a few samples here and there. So don't let it put you off starting one. But I also like want to be real and say that I do think it costs more than what people say it does. Like I am very financially savvy. I literally am qualified up to a financial advisor level, did it for 10 years. Like not to say I know everything about finances, and of course this is a whole new industry that I am learning, and that's going to cost me more money because I'm like the trial and error of all of that. But like I do my research, I do my due diligence with things, like I compare a lot of things before I commit to anything, and I can tell you now the costs are a lot higher than what anyone told me they would be. And also the timescales, like again, what anyone tells you, just triple it. Like if someone says to you that's going to be with you in a week, it's probably going to be 3 weeks. If someone says it's going to be 2 weeks, it's probably going to be 6. Genuinely, like majority of the time nothing has been on time, like literally nothing. On every single aspect, nothing has been on time. So you have to prepare yourself for so much worse. And then if it's cheaper, amazing, but you have to assume the worst in a way, because otherwise you're going to really be disappointed when you thought it was going to be here and it isn't, which is what I used to do. Whereas I'm kind of like a bit more prepared now, where I think it's probably not going to arrive, or it's probably going to cost me more than what I initially thought. Hello again, guys, we are back here. It is now Monday the 7th of October, and my samples are arriving in the next like half an hour to 2.5 hours, because like a 2-hour window. I wasn't expecting them until Thursday, so it's been a bit of a surprise this morning. I've just done my makeup. Today's actually like a fake tan and hair wash day for me, so I'm not looking my best. Like my hands are white, my nails have all come off. I need to get them done tomorrow. Normally I like to look my best when I try samples on, because I try and envision how it actually look when I wear them. But yeah, I've done like minimal makeup just so I look semi-presentable, and we're just gonna have to roll with it today. But I just, yeah, wanted to chat with you guys. I know there's a lot of me just sitting chatting, but you're gonna see so much like behind the scenes as a whole. Just a few cute things. So I had these bags made, which I think are really cute. They actually arrived a lot smaller than I expected. They're actually really expensive as well for how tiny they are. I feel like with imports I paid like over £20 for like per bag or something ridiculous. I know, I literally had them made in America. I didn't even realise you can get things like this made in the UK. Like this was quite a while ago I had these made when I started the journey. I've learned a lot since then. My bag is in a book. So spot my brand in this book. I wish my fingers weren't like this. But yeah, my brand is right here, which I can't believe I've had my first book feature before I've even launched. This is the book in question, Pippin's Rich Life. This is by my friend, and what an honour to be featured in a book. Like, very excited, very proud moment of both myself and my friend. And it's funny because like obviously I'm teaching you to invest into your wardrobes, but this book is about teaching you to actually invest your money sensibly so you can buy more bags, of course. Two things I never thought I'd put together is making finances fun, because finances and fun are not two things that gel, but this book will actually do that. Yeah, it's a book basically just educating you on finances, but like in a story-like way, and it's perfect for kids, well, I'd say probably like 10 plus, teenagers, like stepping into adulthood. I highly recommend this book. It's a little feature for the book itself, and yeah, if you've been on my channel a long time, you know that my background is in finance, and that is how I met Rob, who has done this book. So yeah, just a little proud moment. But I've just got off the phone to my mum, and I just wanted to share with you guys like what I was saying to her, because it's like it's been so strong to me this weekend. Also, yes, I'm in my pajamas, I want to be comfortable. Sorry if I've got any dog fur or anything on me from Lola, but something that I just really like have felt so strongly, and I almost like, I don't even know if I'll include this in here because I get so worried these days about what I say, if it's like, if I'm conflicting things or like controversy and all this stuff. Like there's honestly, you can never say anything these days anymore without people pulling it to shreds, and I need to like learn to just say what I want to say, and it's not gonna like not everyone's gonna like that, and that's okay. I truly believe, and I feel like this has put so much pressure on this whole business, but like I truly believe everything I have done up to this point in my life has all led me to this path, and like everything I've done plays such like a crucial role in this business. Like if I hadn't done finances, I wouldn't have like the business mind that I have to understand all the number side of things. And not that a financial advisor is someone that would necessarily launch a fashion brand, I don't mean that, but there are so many elements to that job that I did for 10 whole years, or even longer, 11 years I think it was, that play such a big role in me being able to set up this business. All of my social media up to this very point, understanding marketing and learning about all of that, learning it from an influencer perspective but also a consumer perspective, getting to try out so many clothes, understanding what's available in the market, what is the market lacking. Also like my passion for drawing since a little kid, like honestly every single part of my life has led me up to this point, and I truly feel like this isn't something I could have done 5 years ago. Like financially I couldn't have done it, business wise I couldn't have done it, confidence wise, like everything has just seemed to align up to this very moment and has put me in this path. Whenever someone said to me before, what is your dream job, I could never really answer that question truly. Like I obviously do social media now, which by the way I never thought I would ever drop my corporate job to do social media. It just kind of happened, and I've just been running with it for the last like year and a half now, but I never sat and said I want to be an influencer. Like that was never the goal. I literally like started social media when I was really young because I was so shy, and it was like my outlet. Like I loved YouTube to just make videos. Like I started YouTube when I was like 14 years old, but they're obviously unlisted, and I properly committed to it when I got my first apartment. But like I say, I have liked social media since way before people made money, literally since YouTube was like fresh. I wish I'd actually continued it. I wonder how much different my channel would be if I had committed to it and like never given up, like, because I gave up so many times. Social media, being an influencer, was never actually my dream job. Like it just kind of ended up happening, and I don't deem myself really a big time influencer at all. Like obviously I don't have like a massive following, and I don't really know how influential I am. Like you know, you have certain people that are just so made for it. I've never felt like I quite like fit in. Like I'm always going to be myself, but I always try and be myself, so I'm not going to like mold into something I'm not. And like, I've tried to do different content styles over the years to try out different things, like, you know, the aesthetic vibe, and it's just not me. Like I love watching it, but I'm not that person, so it's really hard for me to like try and do that. Anyways, so I love doing what I do. Like I'm very privileged that I get to create content and be at my house doing something that I really enjoy doing with like my little dog around and all that stuff. Like I'm so grateful, and I'm not like taken away from that. But I am getting older now. Like I'm 30 next year, which scares me, but yeah, anyway. And obviously I'm evolving and developing as a person, and like one thing that really sticks with me is just how like being an influencer is such a like over consuming job. Buying, being sent stuff constantly. You're like recommending people to buy things all the time, and I don't actually like that. I can't just one day turn around and go, I don't want to be a consumer anymore, because I love buying, I love shopping. It's like one of my favorite things ever, so I'm never gonna not like that. But also I'm so aware I don't want to be such a big influence on that. And it sounds crazy that I'm meant to start a fashion brand, but hear me out here. Like obviously constantly buying into trends, which I have not done. Like I have absolutely made such an effort over the last like 2 years to just stay true to myself when it comes to clothes. My purchase decisions personally are not trend led at all. They are literally led by what I want to buy, and that's been my first step in like stepping out of this like overconsumption world, because I literally advise people only only buy things you truly love, like invest in your wardrobe. Just because I do Zara hauls quite frequently, yes, I'm technically showing you what's new in, which could lead to people buying more, but I'm not actually sitting here going buy everything from Zara. Like I hope that that comes across in my content. I really do advise people to only buy what they need, and if you've already got 5 things like that, you don't need another one. So yeah, I like sharing what's new in, of course I do. Like I need to create content. I can't just drop that because then I won't have any content to show. And I do like seeing what's new in. That's why I get conflicted, because I do enjoy it, but I also don't want to be putting a bad message out there at the same time. But like this thing that I'm working on is like, it kind of combines everything perfectly, because it's like, it's a brand that I'm literally teaching you and like advising you to invest into your wardrobe. Do not go out and buy 10 things the same. Like, I want you to get my thing and really love it and rewear it and rewear it over and over and over and over and restyle it. And I hope that that comes across, that I really am wanting that. Like, that is truly in my heart what I want. Like, I want people to be more conscious with what they're doing. And like, there's been such a big debate online. Like, this very moment when I'm filming this, maybe Molly Mae's brand has literally just launched, and there's been so much controversy on TikTok about it. People basically just saying like, her brand is not a fast fashion brand, it's not sustainable, the fabrics is really bad, it shouldn't be priced what it is. Honestly guys, there's so many things that I could sit here and say, and I'm just gonna try and summarize it really quickly because this is not meant to be like that sort of video. But there's a spectrum when it comes to sustainability, and sustainability alone is not just based on fabric choice, it's based on so many more things. It's based on the factory you use, and is it an ethical factory? Are they paying their staff well? Are they treating them well? It's based on the quality of the item. Is it going to fall apart? Is it going to mean that a consumer needs to rebuy? Because it could be made out of a sustainable fabric, but if it's not constructed in a way that's going to last, i.e. it's been made cheaply or poorly, or the fabric is not strong enough to last a long period of time, it's still going to result in more consumption. Trends. If you're being a very trendy brand, again, you are then contributing more to people buying more things in the long run because it's not going to be in fashion. So there are so many things that actually contribute to sustainability far greater than just the fabric choice alone. And I think there's been a big there's been a lot going on this particular last week when I'm filming this. Also, I don't know when you guys are going to watch this, but there's been so much about it. Yeah, I've given my 2 cents on the internet about it, or 2 pence, whatever the saying is. And also I have learned so much, like when it comes to fabrics, cotton alone, people go, oh, cotton, that's sustainable. Honestly, do your research into cotton. Like, yes, there will be some sustainable cottons out there that are completely organic and sustainable, but so many sustainable fabrics are not made in a sustainable way. There's loads of pesticides and chemicals used to grow them. The processing of the fabrics is really, really toxic and bad for the workers, the environment around. Like, genuinely, like I say, there is so much more to sustainability than just the fabric. When you're trying to make a product that's working for your target market, that they can afford, they have access to, you have to make a compromise somewhere. And as a whole, you're just trying to tick as many boxes as you can to be sustainable. I want to be as sustainable as I can, but I know that I can't necessarily use the most top organic something material because it would then bump it up. That's why you have these brands out there that charge £1,000 for a blazer, because they are ticking every box, and that's why they can charge that. But if you're only selling something for like a mid price point, you can't tick every box. It wouldn't be profitable. It is a business at the end of the day. So yeah, there's all these things whirring around in my head. Sustainability, you know, putting the right message out there, doing the right thing, all these things. Also trying to make money, trying to make a profit, being realistic, because you will be torn to shreds in the fashion industry, but you wouldn't if you're in finance. And if you work in finance, clients can request that they invest into ethical companies only, but most companies out there are not ethical. And anyway, this is like a whole debate and dispute and all this stuff, and I don't even want to really be that person to get into it, but like, it's been such a big thing this last week, and I'm not that very educated on it. I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to educate myself, and I'll try my best with this brand to do the best I can. And over time, if I can access better materials, I will, like in terms of more sustainability. But yeah, I hope like everything I've said makes sense, and like, I'm trying my best to be as good as I possibly can be as a whole. And I really want to make a positive impact in the fashion space. Like, that is so important to me, like genuinely, like in my heart, I feel that. And just as a whole, like, I shouldn't say this, but like, I truly, like, I would give up everything I do in a heartbeat for this to work out. I care about this so much, and like, I truly feel like this is like my thing, and I really do. It's making my eyes water, but yeah, I feel like this is my thing. Like, I feel like I've never known what I wanted to do, and this is like the first thing that every part of it, as upset as it makes me, as frustrated I get, stressed out, I love it. I love all of it. Like, I love sitting there and measuring all the things and figuring out what's wrong and burning a whole day trying to figure something out, to then the next day be like, oh no, it was XYZ. But I love every part of it, and I would honestly feel like I have won the lottery if this works out and like I get to do this. And I'm not even talking from like a ridiculous scale. I'm just talking like if it's just like something that works out so I can carry it on, because obviously you never know when you start a business how it's going to go. Like it might flop. But I really want this to work out, because I'm so passionate about it, and I feel like this is my path. And I feel so scared saying that, because if it doesn't work out I'm just gonna look like an idiot. But you know what, I'm done feeling stupid for looking like an idiot. This is just how I feel ultimately, and I just want to be vulnerable and real about that. And if it doesn't work out, things don't work out. I'm sure I'll try something else in the future, but yeah, this is what I truly feel pulled to do. And there's a lot of things like you think about as well as someone online, like, you know, I haven't had a family yet. When I do I want to put that on the internet? Like, do I actually want to share that with the world? And again, it's like, I just feel that if things go the direction I really hope they do, everything else will kind of align. And like, I would love to be one day that kind of more businessy woman online, where I can help you out with your journey and help you out with your businesses and share my insight and all that. And obviously I used to do finance videos, if you've watched me from back in the day, when I first started my channel, and that's kind of dropped off, and I've gone down the route of just what's new in the stores and what's obviously popular and like what brings in the views, because ultimately it's work, I need to make a living, otherwise I can't do it. But the things that truly sit in my heart that I want to share are things that I could then do in the future if this works out, because I have more insight and knowledge and be able to do that. And like, that's how I see things. Like in the future, if you ask me what do you want your channels to be in the future and what do you want to do in the future, it would be, I want to make this fashion brand work, and I want to be more of a businesswoman online, almost like a Patricia Bright, you know, a Grace Beverley, someone like that. Like that is like my big time vision of what like I would like just be so happy to do, and showing you the behind the scenes of like running a business. And like I honestly guys, I just really want it to work out. But yeah, anyways, guys, it's now 2:11 and my DHL was meant to be here by 10 past, and I honestly, every minute between like the first time it was meant to be here to now, I've been counting down and feeling sicker and sicker and sicker. I thought I'd just give you a live like update of what it's actually like on sample day for me. It's so emotional. And I've just checked, they've like now sent me a live tracker, and they're going to be here soon. They're 4 stops away, but they're like literally a few roads away from me. So yeah, my sample's going to be here. I've got some more fabric swatches in this one as well, because I'm really happy with the new fabric I found. Oh my god, that was the hardest task of my life, by the way, finding a fabric. Took so long. I basically had some more fabric sourced based on my requirements, and I just wanted a better colour range. It's basically really hard because you can find a fabric you love, but then if the colours aren't available, you're then stuck. And no, you can't custom dye unless you're like a big brand ordering a lot of stock. You're so limited when you start out. So I just got some more fabric options coming today, and I'm really hoping that I like some of them, because otherwise I just feel very limited on colours. Like I feel like I'm fine for autumn winter, but I'm just not okay for spring summer, and that's kind of a problem because I need stuff that's going to work for spring summer. But yeah, anyways, so that's coming today, as well as my blazer dress, my blazer, and a pair of shorts as well. And a small percentage chance is that if this blazer dress arrives today and it's perfect, I will have it made one more time as a sample, because you have to have like a final pre-production sample made, which will still take a few more weeks, and then I may go into production this year. Like today, every noise, I'm like, is it there? Is it here yet? Yeah, today's almost a bit of a day where it's like launch day could be brought forward if today goes well. So obviously it's making me feel, also excuse, my makeup always comes off here first where I've been eating. But yeah, today's always one of those days which is very nerve-wracking, because it always like leads to a decision. But I always wanted my blazer dress to launch autumn winter, because I just feel like it's more autumn winter appropriate. But once it's ready, it's gonna be too good for me to like hold on to till next year. But I really like, I don't feel like spring would be the right time to launch it, so I'm just praying today goes well, because if it does, then you never know. You never know. We could be launching sooner than I expect. But yeah, anyways, I don't know whether to film my live reaction or not. Is it? My heart is literally pounding out my chest. I literally need to have a nervous wee before I try these on. Right, you're gonna get a bit of a live reaction. What I've learnt in this process is like I say, you wanna look your best self when you're trying samples on. So I'm aware today I'm not looking my best self, but I would never try samples on anymore with no makeup on, because I could try on the nicest dress in the world, and if I haven't got makeup on and I'm not looking how I'd want to look when I wear it, I'm not going to like it. So you have to do the outfit justice by actually being fair to it when you try it on. So that's my first little tip for anyone that is, you know, doing this for themselves and then not doing it professionally, like having a proper, you know, model. And 2, I steam everything before I try it on, because again, it's not fair to try something on that's not steamed. Like, of course it's not going to look good when it's not steamed. Wow, okay. Right. I'm nervous. I chose this colour, but I chose it from a tiny little swatch. It's definitely darker. Like, it's really weird because I've seen it on a tiny little swatch, and obviously I know the colour, but like, it's very weird. I can't explain it, but when you see a tiny piece of fabric versus the finished garment, it is very different. I have to say, it is a little bit darker than I expected. I'm nervous. It's very nice for autumn winter. Before I actually get into it, I want to see. I'm so scared. Why am I so scared? Oh my god. I just want to have a quick feel of these fabrics because I was like really anxiously waiting to feel them. Oh, that's quite nice fabric actually. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Good fabric there. Yeah, they're not like, that one's not quite what I want. Quite soft. Yeah, none of them fabrics are quite, anyway. Oh, I'm scared. Why am I so scared? I think it's like exactly what I've wanted in terms of the thickness. Okay, yeah, that's quite nice. I'm gonna have to try it on, so actually, oh my god, why am I so scared? I feel like an idiot, like, I feel frightened to try these on. Oh, they've missed the, okay, that's annoying. Buttons have been missed on something. I tried out one piece in this colour. I just thought, F it, let's try it out. That feels really nice, actually. Well, I'm going to steam them and try them on because I feel like looking at them like this is not going to be enough to know. Okay guys, this could be the moment I've been waiting for. There's a few very small tweaks that I want to make to this, but I actually am considering placing my bulk order very soon. One final round of samples, going to try and see if the factory can literally work on it ASAP, like get it out to me this week. It's Monday, so I'm hoping if they can turn it around by the weekend, and then I receive it by next Monday, place my bulk order, and then I'm just going to see if they're willing to like speed up the process for me a little bit. And if they are, then I might do this because I think it's actually going to be, let me just put you here, chocolate cherry. I wasn't even planning on doing this colour, I just wanted to try it out for fun. Like, I was literally going to do this as a sample for me to enjoy wearing this autumn winter, and I have to be honest, I would have loved to have released this in like September time because it gives you that full season to enjoy it, but that's why I'm a bit worried, because obviously we're already in October and bulk can take anywhere from like 4 to 8 weeks. So yeah, that's what I'm really anxious about, but I feel like this could be the one. Like I said, there's a few tiny things. The fabric is insane, like the quality of this is literally what I've been looking for. Really weird though, because my blazer I had made was the same fabric as this but in a different colour. It's not a vibe, like it just feels crispy, like it feels too stiff, whereas this blazer is so like, it's everything I wanted out of a blazer dress. I am just so like, oh my god.